Have you ever wondered how to join the Freemasons? Have you ever thought about joining the Freemasons but thought someone in your family had to be a Freemason, or you had to be in the military to be a Freemason, or someone had to ask you to be a Freemason? Hello, I'm Brother Quest, and I'm going to tell you my story and my quest on becoming a Freemason. My quest to become a Freemason started when I was 14 years old. My best friend, his grandfather just passed away, and I was over at his house, and he said, "Come over here, I want to show you this." And he brought me over, and he showed me a little book. He opened up the little book, and it was all in code, and it had silly little symbols. And then he showed me this big ring. It was like a Super Bowl ring. It was beautiful and glorious. And I asked him, "How do you become a Mason?" And he goes, "Well, your dad or your grandpa has to be a Mason." And I thought about that, and I didn't know if any of my family was Masons. And I went home and I asked my dad. I was like, "Dad, are you a Mason?" He said no. And then I asked, "Was Grandpa a Mason?" And he said, "I don't think so." And I was pretty bummed. And I went for the next few years, not really thinking about it anymore. But then I seen one of my teachers. My teachers had a square and compass on the back of his truck. And then I go, "First Sergeant," because I was in ROTC at the time, "Are you a Mason?" And he goes, yes, I am. I go, "Well, I want to be a Mason." And he goes, "Well, sorry, son, you can't." And he didn't really elaborate why. I assumed because my family wasn't a Mason. Years later, I find out that he's a Prince Hall Mason, and that's a whole different story, and we can talk about that at a different time. So after I graduated high school, and I joined the military. And in the military, I see the square and compass all over the place. But me already being told twice that I can't be a Mason, I never asked anybody else about it. And it wasn't until some years later, I moved to Ohio. And I'm at a daddy-daughter dance. And at this dance, I see a gentleman. And this gentleman, he walks up towards me, and he goes, "I want to thank you for your service." I was in my full dress blue military uniform, looking snazzy, and that's why he came over and introduced himself and wanted to say, "I thank you for your service." And when I look down, I see he's wearing a Masonic lapel pin, like I'm wearing right here. And I go, "Are you a Mason?" The gentleman, he smiles. He goes, "Why, yes, I am." And I said, "Man, I always wanted to become a Mason." And he goes, "Really?" And I'm like, "Yeah, really." And he's like, "Really?" I'm like, "Yeah, really?" He goes, "Well, I can help you out with that. Come to find out, in order to become a Mason, you have to ask to become a Mason. In Masonry, they should not be coming to you and asking you to become a Mason. It's part of your journey or your quest for you to knock on that door and try to become a Mason in order to seek more light in Masonry." Now, in order to be a Mason, there are some prerequisites that you have to qualify for. It depends on the jurisdiction that you're in. In Ohio, it's 19, but other states may be different. Also, you have to be a man of good rapport, and in some cases, pass a background check. You also have to believe in a higher power, and that really just depends on whatever belief system that you have. It just has to be some sort of higher power. You also need to be recommended by 2 brothers of the lodge. Now, if you don't know any Masons, that can be difficult, but it's not impossible. And let me tell you how. You start by locating your nearest lodge. And if you don't know where that is, you can always Google it, and it'll tell you your closest lodge. Once you locate your closest lodge, you can figure out when they meet. And you can either show up the day that they meet and knock on that door, or a lot of times they'll have contact information for you to call them or get a hold of them, and you can arrange a meeting. After meeting the representative of the lodge, you'll continue to meet and interact with the different lodge members. And over time, you'll build trust and understanding with them. And eventually, if deemed worthy, you'll find 2 brothers that'll be willing to sign off on your petition. And if you're lucky enough and you know somebody who already is a Mason, You just simply tell them that you would like to become a Mason, and then they would get you a petition and you would start that process. I share this story with you today because I know personally a lot of brothers who would have joined Masonry sooner than they did had they known how to join. And if this has been something that's been tugging on your heart, I hope this information has helped you on your possible quest of becoming a Mason.